What's up guys, Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video, and today we're previewing the 2019 Tampa Pro, and it's going to be a big one. There's every class in this show and it's crazy straight up. There is so many competitors. I believe there's over 200 pro competitors, and that is just pretty much, actually, there might even be 300. I can't remember if it was 200 or 300, but there is a lot, and there's a lot going on, and we're going to launch straight into it with the men's open bodybuilding, and then we'll go into the 212s, and then I want to just mention one competitor in the classic physique that I know of that's doing it. So let's launch off. I'm going to do my top 9, because there's 9 guys I want to talk about in the open class. There's 21 total competing. And number 9, I'm going to put Sean Smith in there. Now, this dude is pretty freaky. He's got some really freaky muscle, and he even said himself on his Instagram that, you know, he often looks better leading up to shows, so he's not doing anything crazy this time. So hopefully he doesn't, and hopefully he keeps it the same, because he looks pretty freaky. You know, he looks like he's got good conditioning, a great amount of muscle, and, you know, if he combines those two things, then he is going to do reasonably well and get a top 10 finish here in a tough lineup. In 8th, I have Joel Thomas. Now, I've been looking at this dude's Instagram all the time leading up to this comp, because I'm like, when's this dude going to compete? Because he looks, you know, 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, the whole, like, months and months. So I've been speculating this guy might compete in the British Grand Prix and other shows, and he hasn't. And these videos are recent ones. One of these is 4 weeks out, and another one is just a couple of weeks out. And man, this dude looks really good in terms of conditioning. He does have, I believe it's an umbilical hernia, which I've actually had before. So hopefully that doesn't hold him back too much. It's a little distracting, but his conditioning is so good. And I've always thought this guy's had so much potential, and it looks like he's finally realizing it in terms of conditioning. So Joel Thompson I have in 8th. In 7th, I have Milan Sadek. Now, it's going to be tough for Milan to place really high here, because there's a lot of big guys in this show, like genuinely big guys. The only guy out of the top guys, I suppose you'd say, isn't one of the quote-unquote mass monsters is probably Dexter Jackson, and he's not going to be close to him, in my opinion. But Milan, I mean, he's impressed me this year. He placed 3rd at the New York Pro, and then I think he's slowly digressed slightly since then. But, I mean, it's an impressive competition season, and I think next year, if he comes back again, he's going to be getting even higher placings, and I think he will get his ticket to the Olympia. It's unlikely he qualifies on points from this show, but, I mean, awesome competition season, good to see he's finishing it out. In 6th, I have Charles Griffin. Now, this is one sort of, out of his whole top 6, whoever's I'm going to put in 6th is not going to like it. And Charles Griffin, he is in tremendous conditioning. So I actually think that he probably will place higher than 6th, but I'm not sure which guy will actually drop out of that top 5 to actually let him be in the top 5. But he's got tremendous conditioning. I just think maybe some of the flaws of his physique is that his legs are a little maybe flat now, because he's in great condition. He's in great condition for his last show and deserved that top 2 finish. But I just think that he might be a little bit too flat, and that might actually hurt him a little bit, especially in that ab and thigh pose, which, you know, he knows has been talked about. He knows that's, you know, one of his weaknesses, and that his abs and his legs are the things that need to improve. But he's doing the work, and he is just one of the freakiest dudes. And as I've said, he's Mr. Olympia in the gym. 5th place, Hassan Mustafa. This dude is a freak. He is legitimately a freak. And people forget, this guy actually beat Luke Sandoe earlier in the year. At the Indy Pro, he placed 3rd, and Luke Sandoe placed 4th. Now, that's why you know, Luke Sandoe looks in tremendous conditioning by these photos coming out, but I think Luke Sandoe will legitimately challenge. But he has beaten Luke Sandoe this year, and that was after his impressive 3rd place at the Arnold Classic. So Hassan, you've got to really put him up there, and, you know, you could argue that Hassan really should be up in 3rd in this lineup, but he did get beaten by other guys like Steve Kuklo and Akeem Williams, and I think there's a few guys that might just edge him out, because the photos I'm seeing of Hassan, he doesn't look super shredded at this point. 4th place, Lucas Osladil. Now, I am predicting that Ian Valier will beat out Lucas Osladil this time around, but it's going to be a close battle again. And I think Lucas will still easily take out Ian from the back, because he has one of the best back double biceps on the planet, just about. And Ian Valier, though, he's working with Patrick Tua, which I actually mentioned in my last video, and he's looking really sharp. He looks like he's sharpened up for this show. And I think that Ian Valier, as we'll move on to, is going to place a little bit higher, because he is looking spectacular. And I think that he'll get the nod here in 3rd place. And, you know, his weaknesses like his back and, you know, quad detail, I think will probably improve a little bit in this show in terms of he'll be a bit more detailed. Maybe not the back size, but his quads, I think, will be a bit more detailed In second, I have Luke Sandoe and Dexter Jackson obviously in first, but this was a tough one for me. Luke Sandoe is looking incredible. And now I'm thinking to myself, if Dexter comes in like the Olympia last year, Luke Sandoe will beat him. That's my thought. That's my train of thought going into this show. And also, Chris Aceto is going to be there at the show, so he's going to walk Luke Sandoe through it. So I was so split. Before I did this video, I'm like, chuck him in a hat. Don't know who will actually win this. Now, if Luke Sandoe is actually able to beat Dexter Jackson, he'll take tremendous momentum into the Olympia. And I think people will literally talk about Luke Sandoe as a potential Mr. Olympia. And, based on the lineup, he has every chance of that because he is looking freaky. And in first, as I mentioned, Dexter the Blade Jackson. This dude is going for 29 wins. And I want to confirm it here. This is straight off Dexter Jackson's Instagram. He says he's going for 29, not 30. He's on 28 right now. Everyone keeps on saying this is going to be his 30th pro win. I don't know why. I think maybe because he said he wants to go to 30. But yeah, this is for his 29th pro win. And he needs one more for 30. And he said he wants 30. So Dexter Jackson, I have winning the Open. And at the end of this video as well, I'll go over the point system and what could happen and who could qualify based on, how these guys place. In the 212, I have 7th. Honestly, I'm not even sure where this guy will place because he is not what he used to be when he used to compete in the Open. But Ben White, I'm putting in 7th because he's still got a pretty dense back. And I just want to talk about him, to be honest with you guys, because this is the old Ben right here where he competed at 260 pounds, according to him. And this is the new Ben. He's going down to the 212 and he's about 212 pounds here, I'm assuming. So a massive change there, but he's in great condition. So Ben White in 7th. Charles Dixon in 6th. And the reason I'm not putting this dude higher, because, this dude's won an Arnold Classic in the 212s. The reason is because I've seen these photos he put up. This was one day out, and he's not looking as crisp as he perhaps needs to be. And I think that will hurt Charles. So Charles competed in the actual Open Arnold Classic earlier in the year, and he was a little bit off of his conditioning. He did the Indy Pro, where I know he placed out of a top group. I know he's around 5th or 6th. So I've got him finishing in 6th in this show. Kim Jong-ho in 5th. This dude he's an older guy, but he always comes in relatively good conditioning, poses like an absolute pro, like a lot of these Asian bodybuilders do. So I have him placing 5th. In 4th, I have Guy Sisternino. Now, Guy is one of those ones where you could really place him a number of spots here. You could have him winning, and he can definitely win this show. He just looks a little bit flat compared to what he was maybe a couple of years ago, but this dude's had double shoulder reconstruction, I believe. And what he's looking like now compared to what he would have come from after that, I'm blown away. And his condition looks fantastic. So honestly, I think that he'll probably place top 3, but I don't know who to kick out of that top 3 to actually put him in there. In 3rd, I have Bola Ojex. Now, this dude has come 2nd, and he's got 2 seconds, but he did beat Zane Watson in that Chicago Pro, and then Zane Watson actually went from 5th and actually overtook him, I think, the next weekend or 2 weekends later to win the Vancouver. And Bola's added a lot of size. This year, this is the biggest I've seen him come in. And also, I've seen him comment on some of my videos, so thank you very much, Bola, for that. And he's looking tremendous. So the only thing I suppose I'd say about Bola is make sure, he controls his midsection, and then, sky's the limit for this dude, and he can really push up and start winning 212 pro shows. In 2nd, I have John Jewett, but I'm saying this with no confidence because he put up this video one day out, and he said that basically he had a horrible sleep last night because his CPAP machine broke, and it sounds like a little bit of drama, and he won't have that obviously the night before his show either. So he obviously requires that because he's got some sleep apnea, and I think that affects this physique a huge amount. And honestly, I can see this guy slipping because of that. And I really hope that's not the case, but sleep is just so important before a show, and so many guys neglect it. So I have John Jewett in 2nd, and I have Zane Watson. Excuse me, guys. Zane Watson in 1st place. This dude won the Vancouver show. He poses like a pro. He's got a classic physique, and he has tremendous conditioning. The only thing you really knock him on is 1, his back, and 2, not enough size compared to some of these other guys. Everything else, though, he nails. And I think that will beat out a lot of these guys where they have other deficiencies, So I don't think it's totally all about muscle at this point, because I think he'll bring every other factor, and I think that he'll have too much class for these other dudes. But honestly, if Zane comes in not at his very best, slightly flat or anything like that, he could drop down to 5th. It's that close, this 212 lineup, but I think that he's basically guaranteed top 5. And he said if he doesn't do well in this show, I can't remember what he said to me in an interview, which actually will be going up after this, that he will not compete if he doesn't, I think it's top 3 or top 5 or something like that. But I think that he's guaranteed for a top 5, and I have him winning the 212 class. So now going into the point system for the men's open bodybuilding and where it stands right now. So if it plays out the way I actually said it would play out, now Lucas Ozdil would finish on 26 points. He would qualify for the 2019 Mr. Olympia. And Ian Valliere would finish on 22 points, and would fail to qualify for the 2019 Olympia. And Luke Sandoe would finish on 24 points and qualify for the 2019 Olympia. And Dexter Jackson, he's qualified no matter what because he's won an Olympia in the past. People don't actually realize that. He doesn't need to qualify by winning this show. But, okay, say Luke Sandoe actually wins this show. That opens up another qualification spot for someone else because it's top 3 goes. And Akeem Williams is on 23 points right now too, by the way. So just say Luke Sandoe wins. Then the next 3 guys would qualify. It would be Ian Valliere, it would be Lucas Ozdil, and it would be Akeem Williams. Now, if Ian Valliere can place at least, I believe if he can place 2nd, then he would tie on points with Akeem Williams, which would, I'm not sure if that would even qualify him if they take those 2 or if it's the whoever placed higher at the higher ranked show. So I'm not sure actually how that works exactly because I know that Akeem Williams, I believe he did the Arnold Classic, so I think he might have got some sort of, that's the highest caliber show, so he obviously placed higher there. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to be super interesting to see how it plays out. I want Ian Valliere to qualify for the Olympia. I think he deserves it, no doubt. So I sort of hope Luke Sandoe actually wins this show so that he can qualify for the Olympia and be pretty sure that he will qualify. But if any of these guys miss out on the top 5, if a Lucas Ozdil or an Ian Valliere misses out on the top 5, it opens up a spot and one of these other guys will get in. So super interesting where the point system stands. And Luke Sandoe could actually miss out on the Olympia. So the scenario for that, Luke Sandoe, I believe if he places 4th place, Ian Valliere places 2nd, Lucas Ozdil places 3rd, that means that he would fail to qualify for the 2019 Olympia because that would mean Ian Valliere would finish with 2 more points than Luke Sandoe, or 1 more point than Luke Sandoe. Lucas Ozdil would finish above him on points, and then also Akeem Williams would, so he'd just be edged out by 1 point. So that's a distinct possibility. It's an unlikely one because I think Luke Sandoe would do it incredibly well, but it definitely is possible. So very interesting show. Lots on the line for Luke Sandoe and a lot of these other guys as well. And I want to mention one more thing before we get going, that Logan Franklin is making his classic physique debut. I've doing a separate video on this, which will be up after this by a few hours. So make sure you tune into that. He's looking sensational and he's going to be a tough one to beat there. Anyway, guys, that's it for another video. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. It's much appreciated. And I want to also give my shout out of the video. Billy Bones, he comments on all my videos pretty much, or at least I see he comments on most of them. And he gives some great insight and he's been a real great supporter of the channel. He's even sent me private messages. So shout out to you, Billy. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. If you want a shout out, make sure you comment, show me the love and the shares and all that sort of stuff. It's much appreciated. And I want to grow this channel as much as humanly possible leading up to the 2019 Mr. Olympia. Anyway, guys, if you like this content, like I said, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and hit that notification bell button and you'll be notified of every video that goes up from myself at Desktop Bodybuilding. Anyway, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart for Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding. We are